So the New England Patriots have really struggled over the past few seasons, but now they have a chance to hit the reset button with a new coach, and really, this is just a fresh start for everyone. And I feel like the roster is about to revamp itself as well, and it all starts with what they do with their lottery pick in the draft. There is so many options, but the guy they pick will most definitely shape the future of this franchise, and I'm not going to hold back on the guy I think they should take. It's Jayden Daniels, the Heisman out of LSU, and I'm going to talk all about why. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 20k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so from the Patriots standpoint, it's obvious that they need to restart at the QB position, and this class has a few good ones, and it will be very interesting to see what happens before them in the draft, because what do you do if Marvin Harrison is sitting there when it's your turn? But a need is a need, and what's the point of having Harrison if there is nobody behind center to throw him the ball? But roles reversed, if the QB has nobody to throw to, it's also harder to develop him. At LSU, Daniels threw for just under 4,000 yards with 40 touchdowns, and the craziest thing is that he only threw 4 interceptions the whole entire year. I just see so much potential in him, and the way he plays most definitely fits the mold of what superstar QBs are becoming in the NFL. And for Patriots fans, getting excited about the draft is a pretty new thing. Tom Brady previously had of course dominated for over a decade, and even when he left, they were never like bottom of the league. But now they have the 3rd pick, and they could go so many ways with it. Caleb Williams will for sure either go 1 or 2. I could even see the Bears trading down to get Harrison if they are committed to Justin Fields, but there's also Drake May who could be available, and he's another great option. At LSU, Daniels threw for just under 4,000 yards with 40 touchdowns, and the craziest thing is that he only threw 4 interceptions the whole entire year. There's a reason why he was given the Heisman, and even though that award sometimes doesn't translate to the NFL, more recently it has been. LSU's offense was putting up historic numbers thanks to him, and really he carried them in the toughest conference in college football. Either way, whoever the Patriots select is going to be facing immense pressure since this franchise really hasn't been able to find very solid QB play since the departure of Tom Brady. But I think whoever they take, fans and media have got to give the guy time to develop and get used to things. Because for Mac Jones, he was feeling the pressure after just a few bad games. Now, is Mac as talented as someone like Daniels? Obviously not. But people have to remember that the roster is still very weak, and if they rebuild the right way, it's going to take a few seasons for New England to be good again. Especially with how they reset in basically every aspect of things. New head coach, after a legendary run with Belichick, I'm sure a lot of the roster will change, including obviously at QB and whoever else they draft, and basically the culture is going to completely shift. But I think it was very much time for this to happen. And fans also need to get the previous dynasty out of their head, because as it would for any fan base, you obviously will have unrealistic expectations after watching that sort of dominance for so many years in a row. It just doesn't happen like that in this league. And in the meanwhile, people like me, who are Cleveland Browns fans, haven't even got to sniff a deep playoff run in decades. But yeah, revisiting back to when Josh McDaniels joined the Raiders, I think that completely changed the Patriots. Yeah, Bill Bellicheck is legendary, and you can never take away his status as one of, if not the greatest head coach this game has ever seen, but McDaniels ran such a complicated and nearly impossible to fully learn offense that this team was able to outsmart almost any opposing defense. So even after Brady left, they weren't ever atrociously bad. But last year, every game was a struggle, and so was even just moving the ball down the field. Albeit, like I said, Mac Jones did not perform at all. Anyways, that's all in the past. So now I want to talk about the future ahead with whatever QB the team ends up selecting with their early draft pick. Because in their other picks after, they gotta start building around him. So let's start with what positions they are weakest at, which outside of QB is obviously receiver. Like, they basically don't have anything to work with there. So with that being said, the first free agent I think the Patriots should look at is T. Higgins from the Cincinnati Bengals. He had a couple of good seasons with Joe Burrow at QB, and I think he may be ready to take the jump and become a wide receiver 1 or 2 on a new team. Another position New England could also use some heavy reinforcement in is offensive line. And honestly, you could argue that this is the biggest offseason need as well. And one guy they should try to go get is Jonah Williams, also from the Bengals. He isn't anything crazy, but he's young and has room to grow. And taking a step back to the QB position again, I wouldn't be against if the Patriots brought in a vet to start right away so they could let whoever they draft learn for a bit behind him. And to me, the first guy that comes to mind is Gardner Minshew, aka Minshew Magic. He's somewhat consistent, obviously has that experience you're looking for, and again, this move would mainly be to protect their rookie QB. Because oftentimes when you just throw a guy out into the wilderness day one with no offensive line and no talent around him, it goes horribly wrong. But that's just my opinion on what I think they should do. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. There have also been recent reports about the Patriots potentially making a splash and going for Baker Mayfield, but I think it's a long shot. I think he has found his home, for now, in Tampa Bay. Although it may not be enticing to pay him the money that he wants. And again, at the point New England is at in their rebuild, this addition wouldn't really make much sense at all. But one thing that does make sense is that the Patriots just recently offered Kendrick Bourne a contract after putting up 400 yards with 4 TDs last season under some pretty abysmal QB play. According to one source familiar with the wide receiver market, if the Pats don't re-sign Bourne, history indicates they might lose him to a division rival. Anyways, it's going to be interesting to see which way the Patriots decide to go in the draft and free agency, because they really could go full rebuild mode, which to me is the best decision, or they could try to stay competitive and sign vets to fill the obvious holes from last year. But whatever they do, it all revolves around if they can get that number 3 pick right. And to me they will if they go with a guy by the name of Jayden Daniels. That's really all I gotta say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, follow me on Instagram, because I'm starting to post tons of cool stuff on there, and until next time, I will see you all later.